Hello and welcome to this fabulous Tuesday on Crypto. Oh my God, are we seeing an evolution in the space? I mean, there are some things that are proving that we're moving in a new trajectory. Let's hop right into it. Bam. So on the rapid adoption coming from the TradFi side of things, I mean, we are just seeing day after day, whether it be regulators, whether it be the Fed, SEC, whether it be major banks coming online with crypto payments, but it is happening and it is happening quick. And what we see here is SoFi announces that they've become the first nationally chartered bank to allow Bitcoin and crypto trading. Now, the thing to note here is that these banks, these nationally chartered banks, they are directly tied into the Federal Reserve System. So again, we're just seeing that level of acceptance kind of grinding upward, right? With crypto assets opening up to more and more powerful and dominant players. So let's just remember that the customer base of SoFi is now going to have access to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, and that customer base is large. Fingers crossed that this has a positive impact. Now, what I really want to talk about today and what's exciting me is this news that keeps coming out. It seems like the Clarity Act is honestly going to pass because these are in response to a lot of the proposed regulatory changes happening there. But what is happening is that things that would have been antithetical under Gary Gensler, the exact opposite, are beginning to happen. And we are seeing it with major names. So this post right here from Hayden Adams, the CEO of Uniswap, or I should say really the creator, because he's the CEO of the labs entity, and the protocol itself has a governance token, but like it doesn't do anything. Uni has been earning billions of dollars in fees for years. It's been launched since 2020, and yet it was never sharing those revenues. Of course, the equity holders probably loved seeing the Uniswap top co accrue all that value, but in crypto, we believe in passing that money along. And of course, Uniswap was hounded by the SEC, was fighting very expensive legal battles, and they come out and announce that they are launching a proposal that turns on protocol fees and aligns incentives across the Uniswap ecosystem. What we are looking at is the Uni token accruing the value of the fee capture of Uniswap. This is very big. Uni has been out for a long time. It is backed by A16Z. It has major supporters, and yet it has never turned on the fee switch. But what is the point of a crypto ecosystem without sharing the revenue of these autonomous systems? So he says at a high level, the proposal turns on protocol fees and uses them to burn Uni. This is what we're seeing with Hyperliquid. But again, under Gary Gensler, this would have turned you into a crypto security and you would have been sued into oblivion. Two, it sends Unichain sequencer fees to the Uniburn. So Unichain is their own L. The sequencer sits at the center and it orders the transaction queue. Three, it burns 100 million Uni from the treasury representing the protocol fees that could have been burned if the fees were turned on at token launch. Four, introduce protocol fee discount auctions. Very fun to watch markets being built inside of markets. A new way to improve LP outcomes and internalize MEV to the protocol. MEV is an extractive value set that they are trying to solve for. It introduces some other features, but this is all very cool. What it does mean is that by holding Uni, the token, you will now earn yield from the fees generated from the platform. This is what makes it outstanding. And the only reason it didn't happen was because of regulatory hurdles coming from Elizabeth Warren, the anti-crypto army, Gary Gensler, and everybody else. So fuck that. And we see it continuing to happen with Lido DAO. Lido is the largest cumulative staking platform for Ethereum, and it is the backer of the STETH, the first of the liquid stake tokens. A proposal to implement an automated LDO buyback mechanism is now live on the Lido DAO forum. Opinions regarding mechanism, proposed parameters, and more are welcome. This is a democratic process. They have to put these requests forth. There will be a time for feedback and criticisms, and of course, a vote at the end of the day. Now, what's kind of interesting here is people are asking, well, if Uniswap Labs has all this equity and the foundation is moving under the labs, like why would the equity holders permit this? But I think the reality is that the labs now holds so much of the Uni token that they are sort of a natural digital asset treasury for Uni. Basically, if you want exposure through some sort of equity position to the Uni token, you could buy Uniswap Labs equity, but at the same time, the Uni token will be accruing value and paying dividends. The equity holds a lot of the token. They will get a lot of those dividends. Token holders can bypass that and go the more direct route, stake that uni, earn those fees. This is huge. This is how crypto was meant to operate. And yet the regulators under Gensler kept coming out so aggressively that it pushed people in the other direction. This is how we got to the meme coin explosion. People trying to create value capture and value return were pushed out. And the answer was baseless memes that did nothing to generate value, that absolutely promised that they were nothing of worth. And that is the result of the aggressive regulators. Again, this is all very bullish about the Clarity Act passing. So exciting stuff there. And I talked about the trend where Coinbase is listing the Monad token sale as a public ICO. I mean, I've operated a regulated launchpad for many years under the Republic brand, where it was using securities exemptions, but they were never allowed to use their crowdfunding securities exemption. We were able for years to sell these tokens to non-US individuals. Anybody outside the US, very accessible, but inside the US, accredited only. So Monad coming on to Coinbase and selling to retail to any Coinbase user is so huge. But what's also exciting is that Coinbase has a reputation involved. They are forcing the transparency of this token sale. Much of the disruption of our current markets, of that down and to the right only, has been because we've lost transparency. Blockchains, which are supposed to be transparent financial ecosystems, are so opaque at launch. We don't know how much money is being paid to exchanges, how much is being paid to market makers, where are all the tokens in the float, how many are on the team, what do the unlock periods look like. But Monad, going through this experience with Coinbase, has listed all of this: token sale information, token and token distribution information, airdrop information, conflicts of interest information, market makers and liquidity information. I mean, this is the kind of prospectus that you would expect from a real financial entity. A lot of people are taking issue with some of these numbers, and sure, that's a whole nother topic, but this is one of the first times that we're seeing one of these multi-billion-dollar really unicorn launches providing us with all of the cogent and relevant information that we need to make an investment decision. So this is the industry moving in a good direction. It is very healthy to see. And of course, my links to this are in the sources if you're curious for more. Now, last but not least, we do have this kind of fun beef coming out with China accusing the US of stealing 120,000 Bitcoin worth $13 billion, calls it a state hack. This is essentially the controversy centers on the 2020 hack of the Lubion mining pool, which lost these 127,426,000 Bitcoin, right? Now worth a lot of money. And to this, I say, well, good luck getting it back. Not your keys, not your coins. But I do think this is going to be a funny story to follow, as it clearly is a proxy to a bigger battle, right? The tariff war is just sort of the growth battle going on between the China and the US. And it's interesting to see Bitcoin getting dragged into it. I'm not really sure what it means. Clearly, Trump, if he ever wants to launch a reserve, this would be a very big boon to such a thing as a Bitcoin strategic reserve, but he hasn't really talked about that in a long time, and who knows if it's ever going to happen. With that being said, all of this is fascinating. The industry is moving into a direction where we can build good products, algorithmically based businesses that can capture fees, generate revenues, and share those with the token holders. Autonomous businesses was the point of these smart monies from the get-go, but again, this come in and register and these undefined crypto securities kept us away from it, as people were afraid that they would either get sued to oblivion or worse, that they would get arrested and that their families and their livelihood would be disrupted. So these moves from Uniswap and Lido are signaling a very bullish reversal. And that does mean that projects moving forward that maybe have yet to launch can think of much healthier and more rewarding token economics. As always, the market price keeps bumping up and down. We're bouncing in this sort of flat range around the low $100,000 price. So don't over lever, stay safe, and I will see you tomorrow.